Hello students, in the previous lecture we discussed about moment of inertia and its physical significance as well as radius of gyration and its physical significance. Okay, in which we discussed that moment of inertia depends upon position of axis of rotation and orientation of axis of rotation, as well as it depends upon distribution of mass, its mass of the body and size, shape of the body, as well as radius of gyration, which depends upon distribution of mass about the axis of rotation, size and shape. As we increase the distance from axis of rotation, moment of inertia increases, and as we decrease the distance from axis of rotation, then moment of inertia decreases. Now we are going to discuss about one term related with the rigid body. That rigid body is rotating around the axis of rotation. That term which is required for the rotational motion. Because of that term torque, because of that term which is the torque, we get rotational motion. We are going to discuss about that term. That term is nothing but torque. Torque is also called as stroke. We know that in the previous year, in the 11th science, we discuss about moment of force and moment of couple. That moment of force is nothing but, if we consider here, this is the door, and if we want to rotate that door, if we remove the wall which is near to the door, then that door rotates like this. Then all the particles of the door, which is this door is a rigid body, and this consists of number of particles. This number of particles which are of different masses, which rotates around the axis of rotation. Particles motion is circular motion, but whole body's motion is rotational motion. These particles are moving like this. These particles are moving in the circular motion, but their centers of circular motion which are lying on the same axis, which is called as axis of rotation, and we represent like this by arrow and by showing its direction. Okay, in this we find out the moment of force. That moment of force is given by tau. Tau is equal to F into R into sine theta. This is the basic equation for the moment of force. Okay, Fr sine theta. In this way, we find out one more equation for the torque, which is called as moment of couple. Symbol is same. Tau is equal to F. It is magnitude of force, and F into perpendicular distance. Okay, I will show here one diagram. This is two forces. These two forces which having equal magnitude, F and F. If we consider this is F1 and this is equal to F2, both having same magnitude. If we write here, F1 is equal to F2, and if we consider this is equal to F, both having same magnitude. If these two forces are acting in opposite direction but having same magnitude, then we get the couple. And these two forces are separated by perpendicular distance, the distance between two forces, this perpendicular distance which is given by R. Then we are getting torque. Torque is equal to magnitude of any one force into perpendicular distance. Therefore, we are getting torque is equal to F into R. R, it is the perpendicular distance. Now we know that basic equation for torque, basic equation for force is given by mass into acceleration. Therefore, we write this equation as torque is equal to F into R, and F is equal to mass into linear acceleration, which is given by A into R. But if that body is rotating like this, if that body is moving, if we consider this is the axis of rotation and we move that body in this way, then this body is in rotational motion. Or we say that when we find out movement of couple, when we find out movement of force, this movement of couple produces purely rotational motion when equal and opposite forces are acting on the object. For example, when we open the cap of the bottle or when we close the cap of the bottle, then equal and opposite force are acting at that cap of the bottle which is in rotational motion. As well as if we consider the one more example, if we open the screw or if we tighten the screw, then we are applying the force in the opposite direction. When we move the steering wheel, if we want to move it is in the right direction, then we are applying the force in the particular direction. And if we want to move it is in left direction, then we are applying the force in the opposite direction. But these two forces are of equal magnitude, then this is called as couple. Okay, and couple produces purely rotational motion. So that here we are getting when we find out the moment of couple, torque which is equal to F into R. F is equal to nothing but it is force, and force is equal to mass into acceleration. In the circular motion, we find out relation between linear acceleration and angular acceleration. How we write the equation for linear acceleration and angular acceleration? A is equal to R into alpha. A is equal to R into alpha. R it is the distance and alpha it is angular acceleration. This body is rotating around the axis of rotation. Therefore, its angular acceleration is given by alpha, and R it is the perpendicular distance between the two forces. Therefore, we are getting M into A. A is nothing but R into alpha. Therefore, we are getting here A is equal to R into alpha. Therefore, R into alpha into R. Therefore, we write here R into R is nothing but R square. Therefore, we are getting here M R square into alpha. This is the equation for torque. Okay, and this equation is nothing but mr square into alpha. Mr square is nothing but it is equal to moment of inertia into alpha. This is the basic equation for torque, and we have to find out this equation for the rotating body, okay, which is the rigid body. Now we are considering here rigid body. We consider here a rigid body of mass capital M. This is the axis of rotation, and through that axis of rotation all the particles of this rigid body are moving. We consider here first particle M1, second particle M2, and third particle M3, and the nth particle which is given by Mn. This is this point which is called as O, which is on the axis of rotation. This is the rigid body whose total mass is given by capital M. Now we have to find out its total torque acting on this number of particles. Consider this body whose mass is given by capital M. It consists of number of particles whose masses are given by M1, M2, M3 up to Mn, which are at a distance. We consider here this point O, which is the point where we are, this point O, and from this point M1 is at a distance R1, M2 is at a distance R2, M3 is at a distance R3, and Mn is at a distance Rn. When these particles are rotating around the axis of rotation, at that time the force is acting on that particle, because without force body cannot move. The body moves when external unbalanced force is applied. If balanced force is applied, then that body is at rest or that body is at uniform motion. But here not uniform motion, because we say that that body is moving with angular acceleration alpha. Acceleration means what? There is change in velocity. There is change in angular velocity. So that on these forces we are on this mass we are getting this body is rotating around the axis of rotation in anti-clockwise sense, so that we are getting the force acting on all the particles which are given by F1. This force is given by F2. This force is given by F3, and on Mn force is given by Fn. Okay, so that we complete here our diagram. Consider rigid body which consists of number of particles which are moving in along the axis of rotation with constant angular acceleration. The force acting on particles M1, M2, M3 and Mn are F1, F2, F3 and Fn respectively. Okay, now we are going to find out when the force is acting on the particles, we are going to find out torque. Torque is nothing but which produces the purely rotational motion. When the force acting in the opposite direction, we are getting couple, and couple produces purely rotational motion. And in rotational motion, the torque which moves the body. So that when we find out the torque of rotating body, we are getting here for the first particle, torque is given by τ1 is equal to F1 into its perpendicular distance from the point O, which is given by R1. Similarly, τ2 is equal to F2 into R2. τ3 is equal to F3 into R3, and τn, because we are considering here system of particles, so τn is equal to Fn into Rn. But we know that force is given by mass into acceleration. Therefore, this equation becomes as m1 a1 into r1. But a1 means what? A1, it is the acceleration in linear motion, and we know that a is equal to r into alpha. Therefore, we are getting here a1 is equal to r1 into alpha. So putting this value in the above equation, we are getting here this is equal to m1 a1 is equal to a1 is equal to r1 into alpha into r1. So that we are getting here m1 r1 into r1 square into alpha. Therefore, this formula becomes m1 r1 square alpha. Similarly, τ2 is given by F2 into R2. Therefore, this is equal to M2 into A2 into R2. Therefore, this formula becomes, if we write as above, then we are getting this formula becomes M2 into R2 square into alpha. τ3 is equal to M3 A3 into R3. Therefore, it is equal to M3 R3 square into alpha. And for τn, for the nth particle, we are getting Mn An into Rn, which is equal to Mn Rn square into alpha. Okay, in this way we are getting torque for first particle m1 r1 square alpha, torque for second particle m2 r2 square alpha, torque for third particle m3r3 square alpha, and torque for nth particle mn(rn) square alpha. These are the torques acting on the different particles. Now we have to find out the total torque, and that total torque is given by total torque acting on the rotating body, which is equal to, it is the sum of all torques, because here we are getting torque 1 for first particle, torque 2 for second particle, torque 3 for third particle, torque n for tau n for the nth particle. In this way we are getting the number of torques, but now we have to find out the total torque. It is equal to sum of all torques, and which is given by the torque is vector quantity. Torque is vector quantity. When we write the equation for torque, that equation is given by tau bar is equal to r bar cross f bar. R bar cross f bar. Here we have to find out the total torque. That total torque is equal to tau 1 plus tau 2 plus tau 3 up to tau n. Therefore, we are getting tau 1 is equal to m1r1 square alpha, tau 2 is equal to m2r2 square alpha plus m3r3 square alpha plus mn(rn) square alpha is equal to, this is equal to, in this equation, if you see here, m1r1 square alpha plus m2r2 square alpha plus m3r3 square alpha plus up to काय म्हटलं आपण nth particle mn(rn) square alpha. In this, alpha is a common term, therefore we are getting alpha in bracket m1r1 square plus m2r2 square plus m3r3 square plus mn(rn) square. Okay, therefore this bracketed term, which is m1r1 square plus m2r2 square plus m3r3 square plus mn(rn) square, this whole term, we discuss about this whole term, and this whole term is equal to m1r1 square plus m2r2 square plus m3r3 square plus mn(rn) square. This is equal to sum of mi(ri) square from I is equal to 1 to n, and this term is nothing but, this is moment of inertia, and moment of inertia is nothing but, it is opposition to the rotational motion. Therefore, if we put this value in the equation, then we are getting torque is equal to alpha into m1r1 square plus m2r2 square plus m3r3 square plus mn(rn) square. This is equal to I. Therefore, torque is equal to alpha into I. We write this equation as torque is equal to I into alpha. Therefore, we are getting total torque acting on the rotating body. That total torque is given by I into alpha. This is the torque acting on the rotating body. But if we compare this equation with the force in the translational motion, that force is given by F is equal to mass into acceleration. Here mass, it is opposition for the translational motion, and A, it is the acceleration. Then and torque is equal to I into alpha, where I is rotational inertia and alpha is angular acceleration. into alpha, and force is equal to mass into acceleration. If we compare these two equations, this is the torque in rotational motion, and F, it is force in translational motion. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass, it is the translational inertia which opposes the translational motion, and A, it is linear acceleration. Similarly, torque is equal to I into alpha, where I is rotational inertia, means it is opposition to the rotational motion, and alpha, it is angular acceleration. If we find out the dimension of torque, its dimension is equal to, because torque, unit of torque is Newton meter, and this unit is similar to work is equal to force into displacement. Therefore, work unit Newton meter. So these two quantities having same dimension. Okay, torque, it is torque is nothing but it is the force, rotating force in the rotational motion. Now we are going to find out angular momentum of rotating body. We consider here rigid body of any shape, and this is our axis of rotation which is passing through point O. This body is rotating in anti-clockwise sense with constant angular velocity omega. We consider here this rigid body consists of number of particles of masses m1, m2, m3 up to mn. We consider here some particles which are at a distance m1, whose first particle whose mass is given by m1, which is at a distance r1 from point O, axis of rotation. Then m2, which is at a distance r2, and third particle which is mn, which is at a distance rn. This body is rotating around the axis of rotation with constant angular velocity, and we have to find out its angular momentum. First, we are finding linear momentum means what? When if we consider this is the straight path and the body is kept on that path, if we want to move this block, then we apply the force, and because of that force, that body moves in the direction of force. Then we are getting its momentum, linear momentum, which is given by mass into velocity. This is the linear momentum. Because of that body moves. But when we find out when we discuss the law of conservation of linear momentum, we consider here standard law of conservation of linear momentum. If the external force is force is zero on the interacting bodies, if we want to move the body in the straight line path or straight line motion, and if we apply the force F on that body, then that body moves in the direction of force with velocity v. Then we are getting momentum, linear momentum, which is given by mass into velocity, and the rate of change of linear momentum is nothing but force. Okay, this is in linear motion. But when we are finding angular momentum, that angular momentum is nothing but it is given by basic formula. L is equal to T into distance where we are applying the force. We are getting here L is equal to PP. It is the linear momentum. Because of that body moves, and it is the distance from the axis of rotation. So that we are getting here L is equal to P into perpendicular distance, which is given by R. If we are considering here number of particles m1, m2, mn, this body consists of n number of particles, so that on these all particles we are getting linear momentum acting, which is given by P1 on second particle we are getting P2, and on the nth particle we are getting Pn. If we consider here M1, M2, M3, M4 up to Mn, then we are getting P1, P2, P3, P4 up to Pn. These are the linear momentums, and these masses are at a distance r1, r2, r3, r4 up to rn from the axis of rotation. So that now we have to find out the angular momentum. When this first body, this first mass is moving along the axis of rotation, then angular momentum acting on that first particle, which is given by L1. L1 is equal to P1 R1. Similarly, we are getting L2. L2 is equal to P2 into R2. L3 is equal to P3 R3, and Ln, which is equal to Pn Rn. Okay, but we know that this linear momentum is given by mass into velocity. Therefore, this formula can be written as mv into r. This body is rotating, therefore its linear velocity is given by r into omega. Therefore, this formula becomes as m into v. V is nothing but r into omega. So we write here r into omega into r. Therefore, this equation becomes m r square into omega. This is the angular momentum, which is given by m r square into omega for the rotating body. Using this relation, we are getting L1, L2, L3 and Ln as P1 is equal to M1 into V1 into R1, but V1 is equal to R1 into omega. Therefore, we are getting M1 R1 omega into R1. R1 into R1, R1 square. Therefore, this formula becomes M1 R1 square omega. Similarly, for the second particle, we are getting M2 V2 into R2, and this is equal to M1 R2 into omega into R2. R2 into R2, R2 square. Therefore, this is equal to, here M2. M2 R2 omega into R2. R2 into R2, R2 square. Therefore, we are getting here, this is equal to M2 R2 square into omega. Similarly, we are getting P3 into R3 is equal to M3 R3 square into omega. Now, we have to find out Ln. Ln is equal to, for the nth particle, angular momentum is equal to Pn. Pn is equal to Mn Rn into Vn, because P is equal to M into V. Therefore, we are getting here Mn Rn omega into Rn, and it is equal to Rn into Rn square. Therefore, we are getting Mn Rn square into omega. Now, we have to find out the total angular momentum, and that total angular momentum is nothing but L is equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3 up to Ln. Okay, therefore it is equal to, total angular momentum is equal to L1 plus L2 plus L3 up to Ln. L1 is equal to M1 R1 square omega. L2 is equal to M2 R2 square omega. and ln is equal to mn Rn square omega. Putting these values in the equation, we are getting m1 R1 square omega plus m2 R2 square omega plus m3 R3 square omega plus mn Rn square omega. In this equation, omega is a common term. Then if we take this common term, then we are getting the total angular momentum, which is equal to omega is a common term in bracket m1 R1 square plus m2 R2 square plus mn Rn square. In this way we are getting equation. But this bracketed term m1 R1 square plus m2 R2 square plus dash 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 mn Rn square, this is nothing but this is moment of inertia. Therefore we are getting sum of mi Ri square from I is equal to 1 to n is nothing but it is equal to I. Therefore we are getting L is equal to I into omega. Angular momentum is equal to moment of inertia into angular momentum. Okay. Therefore, using this equation, we find out the angular momentum of the rotating body. With the help of that, we have to discuss principle of conservation of angular momentum. We discuss principle of conservation of angular momentum in our next lecture.